Vandeputte, have you ever shot a lightning bolt before? Very exciting, isn't it? Today I want to do three things. Number one is show you an epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney. Two is I want to show you some still frames from that epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney. And three is I want to show you how I made that epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney look even better than it already was. And for that we are going to be using a very simple effect in Adobe Premiere Pro. But let's begin with showing you this epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney. Pretty freaking cool, right? If you're wondering how to actually capture lightning bolts or storms in time-lapse, I have made a video about that quite a while ago. I believe you can find it somewhere up here. The basics are just shoot time-lapses with a long exposure and a minimum dark time between frames. So a 4-second exposure with a 5-second interval, for example, or you can use a lightning trigger, etc. But this is my preferred way of doing it because not only do you get your still frames of your lightning bolts, you also get a nice time-lapse out of it. Let me now show you some of these still frames because they're too good not to share. I mean, just look at that. Isn't that an absolute thing of beauty? Now, to get to the actual tutorial bit, obviously, you're going to open up Adobe Premiere Pro and you're going to import your epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney, or the equivalent of the epic time-lapse that you shot back in wherever it is. And you are going to, let's start screen recording here because that's going to be very useful for the tutorial here, isn't it? This is Premiere Pro. This is the epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney. This is the demo sequence that we'll be using. I'm going to be dragging that bad boy in the timeline. And here's the issue. If you just hit play, these lightning bolts are, nice, but they only last for one frame, and that is where the issue lies, obviously. If you play that in video, as you can see, the lightning bolts, they deserve more attention. They deserve more time on screen. Now, how can you do that? There's a number of ways you can do that, but the simplest way is to navigate to the Effects Presets tab, drag and put in echo, and then drag the echo effect onto the epic time-lapse that I shot back in Sydney. And then you want to adjust some of the parameters. And there's only 3 parameters you want to adjust here. So echo, these are the parameters we get. Can I extend this screen? No, that doesn't matter. You want to keep the echo time to the same. Number of echoes, well, let's change that to 3. You can extend that, play with it, have a play, see what it does. It immediately ruins the shot here, but that's because we need to, keep adjusting our settings. Decay, go to 0.5. That means that for every frame, it will decay half in brightness or in exposure. And then the echo operation, which is pretty much a blending mode of all these frames that you're echoing on top of each other. You want to change that to maximum, and boom, that looks better. Let's hit play. And now, if you'll notice, let's go to one of the epic strikes right around. Okay, so as we can see, that is frame 1. That's not frame 1. That is frame 1. That is frame 1, the original photo capture. And we want to have more time on screen with that one. So if I navigate to the next photo, that is echo number 1, which goes down and half. Echo number 2, echo number 3. By 4, it's gone. That is that number of echoes that you have there. And so if I were to change that to number of echoes 9, it's going to mess up the sequence. It's going to look a bit ugly. And so you can change that with a Luma key, for example. Computer's not working, so let's just finish the tutorial here. You can change that with a Luma key, but that is pretty much that. Be careful when you're shooting lightning. Obviously, they tend to be quite lethal. If you're ever out in the field shooting lightning bolts and you feel your hair is standing up, you're in a really bad spot. So do some reading before you go out storm chasing or lightning chasing, and that's pretty much it. I have to stop filming. It is 35 degrees outside and I am dripping. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments down below. Thanks for being here. Buy my time-lapse course. I will come to your house and kick your shins if you don't. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. I'm losing my mind. It's so hot. Okay, bye.